Technology presents educational satellite television programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on common human disease in Ethiopia. In our last lesson, we learned about vaccinations. Today, we are going to begin to look at one of the common diseases that affects us in Ethiopia. That disease is tapeworm infection. We have learned in the previous lessons that microorganisms like bacteria and viruses can cause disease in humans. But some of the most damaging diseases in the world are caused by a different kind of organism. Mosquitoes, tapeworms, and Protoctista are just some of the groups of living things that can cause damage to the human's body and health. Tapeworm infection is an example of a disease caused by parasites. A parasite is an organism that lives on or in another organism and takes its nourishment from that organism. Tapeworms are worms, flatworms more specifically, that live in the intestines of their hosts, particularly humans and other mammals. They are some of the best known parasites in the human body. As we have learned, parasites live on or in organisms and take their nourishment from the organism. Tapeworms infect the intestine of the host, but don't feed on it. Instead, tapeworms rob the host of their digested food. They work by attaching themselves to the wall of the intestine with suction hooks that are on their head. Tapeworms do not have a digestive system, so they absorb already digested food through their skin. Students, how do you think people get tapeworms? Take a few minutes to write down your answer on a sheet of notebook paper and share your answer with the student sitting next to you.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. Did you share your answers? Most often, tapeworms are contracted by eating undercooked or raw meat that contains a young tapeworm. The two most common tapeworms that affect people are found in beef and pork. Tapeworms have a complex life cycle, which means they will live in two different hosts. Typically, the young parasite will live the first stages of its life in the muscles of an animal. When we eat these muscles, or the meat of the animal, we ingest the parasite and it grows in us. Cows and pigs that live in conditions that are unsanitary, like being exposed to human feces, can contract cysticerci, which are tapeworm eggs that are embedded into their muscles. The cysticerci consist of a capsule or covering containing a scolex. A scolex is the knob-looking end of a tapeworm. When the cysticerci are ingested by humans eating raw beef or pork, our stomach acid dissolves the scolex and the cysticerci attaches itself to our intestine wall with its hook-like suctions. From there, the cysticerci begins to produce buds called proglottids. This is how the tapeworm grows. The proglottids are the sections of the tapeworm that remain attached to each other for a long period of time. The oldest proglottids are the furthest away from the worm's head. These mature buds develop both male and female sex organs. They eventually break loose and are passed out of the host through feces. The proglottids in the feces contain eggs. The cycle of the tapeworm repeats itself if the conditions are such that an animal is living in an environment where it can ingest the infected feces. The eggs will bury themselves in the animal's muscle, and the tapeworms will be passed on once again. Students, look at the diagram of the tapeworm. Can you label where the head, suckers, and proglottids are on the tapeworm?
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. Were you able to label the diagram? Here are the correct answers. Because the tapeworm absorbs the food and nutrients in the infected host, a person who may have contracted a tapeworm will suffer from weakness and weight loss. Also, if the tapeworm is large, the immune system in the body responds by forming a collection of fluid in the abdomen, resulting in a pot belly. If the cysticerci are ingested, they can settle into the muscles and organs in the human. If a cyst settles on a vital organ like the liver or the brain, the functions in that organ may be restricted, which can lead to severe health symptoms, including seizures. Tapeworms can be treated with an anti-parasite, anti-worm, and anti-inflammatory drugs. The drugs force the parasite to let go of the intestine wall and then pass out through the body. If the parasite has already formed cysts, it may take surgery to remove them. Preventing tapeworms is simpler than curing tapeworms. We know that tapeworms are spread by eating raw meat. So, it is important to properly cook meat before consuming it. Ensuring animals, both pets and farm animals, are given deworming vaccines is another way to prevent the infection of tapeworms. Maintaining sanitary conditions in and around the home will not only prevent tapeworms, but will also prevent other intestine infections as well. For our last activity, students, let us review ways to cure and prevent tapeworms. Can you name 2 things you could do to make sure you do not contract a tapeworm? Take a few minutes to write down your answers.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. There are many ways you could prevent yourself from getting a tapeworm. If you said keeping your home and kitchen clean, cooking your meat, or giving your pets or farm animals a deworming vaccine, then you answered correctly. This brings us to the end of our lesson, students. To review, we learned about tapeworm infections. We learned how they are contracted and what the symptoms are and how to prevent this kind of infection. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.